Hello, my name is Tracy Allen and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Good morning everyone and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. The sun's coming in this morning. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. So I'm just so thankful for all those days when we're heading out of winter into spring. So I am going to show you today a way to do a brisket. Now I love really well cooked brisket. We have a nephew that at Thanksgiving time when everybody else does turkey and all that, he brings a brisket that he's done on his green egg, and smoked brisket's wonderful. Now this recipe actually I'm going to do in the oven because I'm not really good with a smoker like my husband and my nephew are. So I've taken a 5-pound brisket, which the recipe I'm going to share actually calls for a whole or a 10-pound one, but we don't need that much brisket with just my husband and I at home. So I've taken a 5-pound brisket and I've trimmed the decal fat that connects it to the animal off, as pretty much gotten most of the fat. Now you don't want to do all the fat because that will help keep the meat tender, but I've removed that. And then I put it in my roasting pan that's been sprayed, and I just use an aluminum one so that I can toss it when I'm done. But I've sprayed that and I put it fat side up. Now, I'm going to put this in the oven in a minute at 300 degrees it'll take about 4 hours before I'm ready to move on to the next step. So what I've done, now this recipe actually calls for Asian honey barbecue sauce, and the Asian part of it has some teriyaki and, some soy sauce and some ginger and different spices. And then obviously the honey part of it barbecue sauce has the honey flavor, the sweetness to it. Now in our store, I couldn't find the barbecue sauce I was looking for. So I actually bought some Japanese barbecue sauce that has all those wonderful spices and stuff in it, and then some honey barbecue sauce, and I mixed those. So that's what I have here in my measuring cup. And I have about 12 ounces that I'm going to put over the top of this brisket. Now, again, the recipe calls for closer to 22 ounces. So in that case, you would use a whole bottle if you had the right sauce, or I would mix more of this up. Obviously, I'd mix both of those together. So I've mixed those up. It's got a wonderful smell to them. And I'm just going to put that over the top of my brisket. There. And then I'm going to take a sheet of aluminum foil and I'm going to seal that up nice and tight. Now, like I said, this is going to go in a 300-degree oven, and it's going to take it, I'm going to leave it in there for about 4 hours. And at that point, I will take that out of the oven and I'll go ahead and add the rest of the seasonings. I'm going to add to that some garlic powder, so you'll need to have that ready. I'm going to add some cumin, which is right here, some salt and pepper, and then a little bit of chili powder to kind of give it a little bit more zing. And so I'm going to put this in the oven, let it bake 4 hours, and then I will come back and show you the next step. Okay, our brisket has been in the oven for almost 4 hours at 300 degrees. And as you can see, the sauce has actually permeated the brisket, and it's really starting to look really good, and it smells wonderful. So now the last step, I'm going to go ahead and add the last of the ingredients. And then I'll cover the brisket again with foil and put it back in a 300-degree oven for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. It just depends on whether the brisket is actually tender enough. After 2 hours, I'll pull it then. If it needs a little more time, it may take up to 4 hours depending on the thickness of your brisket. But in my bowl that I'm going to add, I have a half a cup of brown sugar. And remember, again, we're doing just a 5-pound brisket, not a 10-pound brisket. So a half a cup of brown sugar. And to that, I'm going to add a tablespoon of garlic powder that I've measured into my ramekin, a tablespoon of cumin that I've also put in there, a half a tablespoon of regular salt, have a tablespoon of chili powder, and then half a tablespoon of black pepper. So I'm going to put all those together. I'm just going to use my measuring spoons to break that up and mix it. So this will just add some more spice to those two barbecue sauces that I mixed earlier, the Japanese or Asian one and the honey barbecue sauce. So now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put it over the top of our brisket. And again, I will cover this with that foil, put it back in the oven, and then I'll show you what it's going to look like when it comes out. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.